Hey, let's go, let's go, let's go. It's Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. Hope you enjoy your time with your family. But it's Monday, so let's get our minds straight. Let's get ourselves motivated, and let's get right into it. So over the past few weeks, I've talked about multiple things and following your purpose and finding your passions. And we covered multiple things through those weeks. And one of the first ones was doing it afraid, right? And before we go any further, I just want you to know that I'm still here. I'm still doing it afraid, but I'm here because my desire, my passion to inspire, to motivate, to serve, to help others far outweighs that temporary fear from doing something new, that temporary fear from doing something that is uncomfortable. So I'm gonna keep being here. I'm gonna keep showing up as long as God blesses me to do so, because I'm all in, I'm committed. So let's continue on, all right? So we had doing it afraid, and then we had to know you're enough, because everything you need is already within you. It's already here. And then the third thing last week was believe you can and you will, because there's a plan, there's a purpose for your life, all right? And then today, and perhaps what I would say is probably the most important and following your passion and finding that purpose is to just be you. Just be you, to show up as you are and show the world your true, imperfect, you're flawed, you're quirky, you're weird, you're beautiful, passionate self, to just be you, because God made one of you for a reason, for a purpose. To show up and to be that person is going to get you to that place. It's going to get you to your potential in life, because being you and being uncomfortable in your imperfections and those flaws, but showing up and being comfortable with that is something that very few people do. It's a very small percentage of people that are comfortable with that, with those flaws, with those imperfections. But to show up and be yourself in that, and not let the distractions of the world, not let the things around you, the social media, the TV, the realities of what they call realities around you to define you, to change who you are, who you're being, is not the easiest thing to do. And I have done that. I've faced that over several times in my life. And one of them I talked about a few weeks ago was being turned from a job because the being more for the A team than the B team, right? So in being me, in doing what was right, for standing up for myself and standing up for others, cost me that job. And it also cost me 2 other times, right? So that wasn't the only time. And I'm not saying that to boast or to brag, but what I'm saying is that I chose to be me and do what was right versus what someone else wanted me to do, versus what someone else wanted me to be. And to choose to do that was not the easiest thing to do, but it was the right thing to do. And I realized that I will never be perfect, nor do I ever strive to be, nor do I ever care to be. But what I realize now is that I am grounded in God, in my belief in doing what was right, even in the moments of even in the hard moments, right? Even in those moments of question, even those moments of I can take an easier route. They're telling me, if you do this, you can keep your job. If you don't do this, you're going to lose your job. So to choose to do right in the hard times is just from trust. And in that trust, as it says in Proverbs 3 verses 5-6, to trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not onto your own understanding. And in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. In all thy ways acknowledge him. In all those situations, to acknowledge him, he shall direct thy path. And I did that then, and I will always do that. I will always do that, because in becoming and being the best version of yourself, you have to accept how you were made and all your flaws and all your imperfections. Accept that and go into life 100% authentic with that, to accept it and go and be 100% authentic with it, because lean into God for everything else is where you're going to get that strength, is where you're going to grow. So being okay with who you are and accepting it 100%, and then lean into God for everything else to make you better and everything else. And one of those ways for me was to look into those blind spots, right? So those are those spots that we tend to not really look at. You know, they're there. Some of us know about them, some of us don't, but those are those spots, right? Those are those things that are uncomfortable sometimes, and we don't necessarily want to look at them and work on them, because that's why they're called blind spots. They're there, we don't look at them. And unlike in a vehicle where you have your mirrors that you can find those blind spots, you don't necessarily have those in life, because we're going 100 miles an hour, we're moving and we're going forward, and we don't necessarily take the time to look in those spots. So one of the things I did was to get feedback from people close to me, people around me. But the best feedback that you'll get is going to come from those who live with you, those in your house that see you on a day in, a day out basis, right? So those are going to be the ones that are going to give you that feedback. And I'm going to share some of that with you in a moment. But before I do, I just want to say that don't judge me, because like I just mentioned, God ain't finished with me yet, right? So I'm going to share those with you. And I have my wife and my 2 daughters. So here's from my wife. My husband is a procrastinator right out the gate. Again, he's still working on me. He loves to help everyone, never worries about anything, and never does any manual labor. I don't know, I have to come back to that one, but okay, so now my daughter Hannah, she says, Dad thinks on the positive side, has a very hard work ethic, is always late. Praise God, always late, still working on me. Has an extrovert personality, makes friends with everyone, and talks to everyone. All right? Yes. And then my 7-year-old. Now, if you don't have a 7-year-old, the feedback from a 7-year-old is very, how they see it is very raw, uncut. So here's her. You know, Dad's a hard worker. Dad's a superhero. Dad eats healthy. And this one right here, this one really, really got to me, because this is one where she says, doesn't spend enough time. Now, again, still working on me. That is a blind spot. But I will say, I have to confess that last night when it was brought up to play LOL dolls, guess who was there, right? So guess who was there? So thank you for letting me share that with you. We got a couple more things, and we'll let you go get to your Monday. But next, I want to say, if you don't have those people in you that can give you that feedback, give you those blind spots, please look to them, please find them, because with that is where you will grow. With that is where your growth will come. So take that and how God made you, and that is going to be your path to peace and to happiness. Because think about it, if you can wake up every day and know that how you are made, and your flaws and your imperfections, that you are enough, that God isn't an author of confusion. You were made this way for a reason, that you are enough, and that you don't have to prove anything to anyone, right? To know that and wake up every day, that is going to guide you to peace and to happiness in your life. And it's going to take out so much pressure from everything that's around you, from the world that's moving, from the world that's pushing you this way, from the world that's pushing you that way. It's going to take out so much pressure from that. So to know that and wake up with that every day, and to step into that day as your true, authentic, magical self, and to just be you, is going to get you to that peace and to that happiness, and to live each day like that. Now, there may be a question of some saying, well, I don't really know how to find that passion, or I really don't know what that thing is. Well, I'll tell you, for me, the first place you should search and find that, to look for that, is going to be right here, right inside your heart, because in your heart lies the true you. It's in your heart where the true you is, because it will reveal to you what you do, what you say, how you feel, all lives there. And it's also where you will find those passions, those interests, those things that you care about. They all live there. And those passions and those interests were placed in your heart by God for a purpose, for a reason. So search them out, and in doing so, pull them out. And you want to ask yourself 2 questions. The first one is, what is What is those things that get you excited? Where do you find the most enthusiasm? Where is your let's go in those things, right? So pull those out. What are those things? And then the second question is to ask yourself in those things, what would you do if though in one of those things, what would you do if there was no obligations for money, if you didn't have to worry about finances, if all that around you was taken care of? What is that thing that you would do, right? Because in that thing, in that one thing, think about it. In that one thing is how you were wired, is what you were wired to do, is where you're going to be the most effective, is where you're going to have the most impact, is where you take that thing and you can make changes, not only in your life, but in the lives of others. So find that thing, get good at it, work at it, master that thing. Let that thing be you, because you're wired to do that. And when you find that thing, when you find something like that that you love, that gets you fired up, that gets you motivated, that lifts your spirit up, when you find that thing, you won't have to have anybody push you. You won't have to be motivated. You won't have to have that fire lit under you, because that desire is going to come from here. And as you do, as you find that thing and in doing and being that thing, you will discover that the meaning of doing something, a meaning of impact, is so far more valuable than just money. You know, to do something with impact, to have impact of meaning in doing something is far more valuable than just money. So in closing, I want to encourage you, if you don't know what that thing is, or if you do, that you continue to pull that thing out, right? Search in your heart, pull that passion out, all right? Step at it, do it afraid, right? Show up, do it afraid, know you're enough, believe you can, and show up as your true, authentic, beautiful, powerful self and get at it, all right? Let's go. Again, pull that out, go at it, do it afraid, know that you're enough, believe you can, and just be you. Just show up in your pure, beautiful self. You're powerful. You can do this. You got this, all right? So let's go. It is Monday, on this day, on this week. I thank you for being here. And please, if you have any comments, any feedbacks, I would love to hear from you. Leave a message, send me a message. God bless you. Have a great day, a great week, and I'll see you next Monday.